everybody, this is Michelle Goldstein with Heart Alchemy Yoga, and we're filming today at downtown LA's premier yoga studio called The Springs. It's an amazing space. And today we're going to film an advanced flow with a few arm balances and more challenging options thrown in, but it's also always a mixed level class that I teach. So you're welcome to skip anything or try anything, it's all up to you. Let this be your practice. So let's go ahead and get started and come to your mat, come to child's pose. So I start almost all my classes in child's pose. I think it's just kind of a sweet space to drop in. Just separate your knees a little wider than your hips. Bring your toes together behind you. Begin to deepen your breath in and out through your nose. And smooth out your breathing. So just moving into a little ujjayi breath. And when you're ready, come on up to your hands and your knees and press yourself back to your first downward dog pose of your practice. So while down dog is great and the arm balances are fun and there's lots of cool things that we can learn how to do with the yoga practice, the yoga practice itself is the breathing practice. So to allow that to be, let that be your foundation. Even allow the breath to be audible. So as you breathe through your nose, you feel the traction of the breath as it moves down the back of your throat, both in and out. Start to firm up your triceps so the upper arms hug in and you externally rotate your shoulders. Good, and go ahead and inhale, shift forwards to plank position, upper push-up. And take a few breaths here, still the triceps firm, fingers spread. Deeply breathing. Tailbone lengthens down to your feet, to your heels. Just one more breath in and exhale back to downward facing dog pose. And again, inhale to plank position, upper push-up. Good. Exhale back to downward facing dog. That's it. One more time like that. Inhale to plank. And exhale back to downward dog. Go ahead and step your right foot up to your hands. Be in a lunge, a runner's lunge here. Right knee bends. Left heel extends back. Inner thighs engage. Good. And then from here, go ahead and step back to downward dog pose. Inhale again to plank position. And this time exhale, lower to chaturanga, halfway down. Flip over your toes. Come to upward facing dog. Lift the thighs up, shoulder heads draw way back. And then use the belly to take the hips back to downward dog. Use your breath. Use your breath to keep your mind calm, your body warm. Step the left foot up to your hands. Good, deep breath. Draw the left hip back. Hug the inner thighs together. So engage those inner leg muscles. That will help you in this practice. Also engage the pelvic floor a little bit. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Back to downward dog. And again, inhale, plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward dog. And use the belly to draw the hips back, downward dog. So one of the keys to being able to balance on your hands, your arms, is to be able to move from your center, to find your center point. Go ahead and bring your feet to the front of your mat. So as you move, consider that centeredness. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, forward fold. Good, and then from the belly, come all the way up to stand. Big inhale, float the arms up. And exhale, fold forwards, come all the way down. Inhale, lengthen, flat back. Exhale, step back to plank or jump back to chaturanga, your choice, lower down. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, back to downward dog. Good, deep breath. Again, inhale, the heels lift up. Exhale, look forwards. Walk or hop your feet to your hands. Good. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to stand. Reach the arms up. And exhale, the palms connect at your heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Good. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, flow. Step or jump to chaturanga, your choice. Good. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, back downward dog pose. The real transformation of the practice lies in the breathing. Your ability to do downward dog is a relatively useless skill, right? I mean, like, the going gets rough in life, down dog may not help you, but your breathing practice most definitely will. Step your right foot up to your hands, please. Come up to crescent pose on the back toes. Square off your hips. Lift the front of the pelvis upright. Tailbone lengthens down for a little cat tilt. The shoulders soften, the triceps engage. So again, you want to wrap those triceps so they start to wrap forwards, bringing the shoulders into an external rotation. Good. And just one more breath here, okay? Then release the hands down to your mat, step back, vinyasa. Up dog, inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Step the left foot up to your hands, come up to crescent. Take the arms up. Good, deeply breathing, deeply breathing. Let your face be soft, like you're gazing out, watching the sunset or watching the tide roll in at the beach. Engage those inner leg muscles, lift the pelvic floor a little bit. Notice if that gives you some stability. Notice what it does when you begin to apply some of these cues, alignment cues and suggestions. The shoulders draw down the back, the upper arms engage. One more breath in, maybe you sit down one more inch. And exhale, release the hands to your mat, step back to plank, and lower down chaturanga. Good, inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, back to downward dog pose. Good, deep breath. Inhale, the heels lift up. Exhale, walk or hop your feet up to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, come to chair pose, inhale. And exhale, fold forwards and straighten the legs. Inhale, lengthen, flat back. Exhale, chaturanga, make your way back and through your flow. Up dog, inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Step your right foot up to your hands, spin the back heel flat to the floor. Come to warrior one pose for a breath. And then lower the hands to your mat, step back to plank. and lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Step the left foot through, spin the back heel flat. Come up, warrior one pose, inhale. And exhale, release the hands, step back to plank and lower down. Good, big breath in, upward dog. Biggest breath out, downward dog. Keep the breath flowing. See if you can allow the breath to move deeply as opposed to forcing it. When you're ready, bring your feet to your hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, chair pose, inhale. And fold forwards, exhale. Lengthen, inhale. Exhale, vinyasa, make your way back. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Right foot steps through, warrior one. Back heel flat to the floor. Bend the right knee deeply, sit down into it, and release hands to the mat. Step back, lower down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, down dog. Step the left foot through. Warrior one, come up. Inhale. And release vinyasa. Step back and lower. Good. Inhale, up dog. Be precise. Exhale, down dog, but not neurotic. So just start to find how you move deliberately. Move deliberately, intentionally. But also let it be, your art. Let it be relaxed and inspired. Bring your feet forwards to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, chair pose. Inhale. Fold forwards, exhale. Lengthen. Inhale, and exhale, make your way back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot lunge, warrior one, come up. One breath, inhale, and release. Plank, and lower down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale back, step the left foot through. Warrior one pose, come up, inhale, and let it go, vinyasa. Good, deep breath, deep breath. There's a point that you get to in your practice where the only way to advance really is the breathing. You can learn every single trick. You can balance upside down on one fingertip with your foot behind your head. Great, you've learned so much. But to smooth out the flow of breath, yoga is the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind. Bring your feet to your hands. One more round of those. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, inhale. Fold forwards, exhale. Lengthen, inhale. Exhale, chaturanga, make your way back. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, back, downward dog. Good, step your right foot up to your hands. Warrior one. One more round of these. Bend the right knee, sit down into it. Exhale, release. Plank and lower down. Good. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, back to downward dog. Step the left foot through. Back heel spins flat. Warrior one pose. Come up and release. Step back, lower down. Good. Inhale up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Lift your right leg up, please. Inhale. Exhale, step the right foot all the way through. Come up to warrior one pose. And let's go ahead and glide open to warrior two, warrior two. Just feel yourself settle into it. Feel yourself settle into it, but also rise up out of it. Just finding such a balance or a harmony between the two. Allow your right thigh to sink down and your left thigh to draw back into its hip socket. Good. And then take the left hand back, the right arm up, reverse warrior, big breath in. Now exhale the hands down to your mat. Step back to plank pose. Bring your feet together. Roll to the outer edge of the left foot. Reach the right arm up for side plank, Vashisthasana. Okay, so there are different modifications for this pose. You could put your left knee down if that seems like a good idea. This is excellent strength building and also shoulder opening to help you move into some of the, more advanced arm balances. Okay, so draw the lower ribs, the lower floating ribs, draw them in. Maybe you lift the corners of your mouth, maybe. One more breath in. And exhale, release. Chaturanga, lower down. Good. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up. Inhale. Exhale, step through. Come up to warrior one pose for a breath. Big breath in. Open up to warrior two. Good. Deeply breathing. So as far as yoga sequencing goes, I kind of like to roll with a more traditional flow. And so often the warm-ups in these practices are very similar. And the advantage to that is that we can really quiet the mind within the familiarity. You don't have to think too much about what's going on because it's familiar. We warm up in a similar way each time. And within that is sort of a ritual aspect. This is part of a ritual. And within the context of ritual, we begin to enter the subconscious mind. So we can let go of the thinking mind and simply immerse in the experience and listen inwards. Feel the left thigh sink down one more inch. Right thigh draws back just a hair. And then the right hand back, left arm up. Reverse your warrior. Inhale. Exhale the hands to your mat. Step to plank. Bring your feet together. Please roll to the outer right foot. Reach the left arm up to the sky. Vashisthasana. So again, soften the low ribs into the back ribs. Hips lift up a lot. Inner thighs engage a lot. Even play with the pelvic floor. Well, don't play with it, but play with engaging it. Yeah, sorry. Got to be inappropriate at least one time per class, huh? Engage it. Learn what happens. Feel what happens when you do that. One more breath. Good. Release the left hand down. Vinyasa, lower down. Good. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, back, downward dog. Downward facing dog. It's all experimental. 16 years ago, I decided to see what would happen if I practiced yoga every single day. And people asked me what happened. And I said, I don't know, I'm still figuring it out. It's still an experiment. I feel better and better every day, I can tell you that much. Let the whole practice be exploratory and experimental like that. Go ahead and bring your feet to your hands, please. Because the moment we think we've got it figured out, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold, is the moment that we've closed all the doors, really. Inhale, rise up to stand, reach up. And exhale, pull it to your heart. Good. Bend your knees, chair pose, inhale. And let's take a prayer twist to the right. Palms meet at the heart, twist to the right. Left forearm cross over the right thigh. This is the first twist of our practice today. Sit your bottom down a little bit and bring your weight back to your heels enough that your weight rests back there. So much you could lift the toes and spread them, even though the front of the feet obviously stay on the floor as well. Good. Press that right shoulder, head open, one more breath. Good, and then come back to chair pose, inhale, and twist to the other side, twist to the left. Good, deep breath, deep breath. Be mindful, be gentle, be thorough, not forced. Allow it to happen. Allow the rotation of the spine to unfold. One more breath, and then fold forwards. Beautiful. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, step back or jump back if you like. Chaturanga. Good. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog pose. Lift your right leg up. Inhale. Exhale, step the right foot through to the front of your mat. Come up, warrior one pose for a breath. And open up to warrior two pose for a breath. Good. Reverse your warrior, one breath. And then side angle pose just for a breath. And we'll come back up, reverse warrior, inhale, keep the right knee bent. Exhale to side angle pose. And one more time, inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale to side angle, and now we'll stay in this pose for a moment. Good, so you can, like Elise and Amanda are doing here, you can keep your right forearm on your right thigh. If you want to work a little bit deeper, you are welcome to take the right fingertips all the way down to the ground, left arm over the left ear, if that feels good to you. You're also welcome to work with a block. You could take the right hand to a block on the inner right foot. Use your back leg, your left leg. Press the outer left foot down. Draw the left thigh back into its socket. Good. Come back up to warrior two pose, inhale. And exhale, release the hands down to your mat. Come up on the back toes, just stay right here for a minute. We're gonna come back into Vashisthasana on the left side. This time, if you like, maybe you hook the right big toes with your two pointer fingers. And as you roll to the outer left foot, start to lift the right leg up to the sky. So this is a variation that you can play with. If it doesn't work for you, or for your body, or you're not feeling it today, then just skip it. Lift the hips up a little bit higher, engage the pelvic floor. And then release the right leg down. Side plank, inhale. And lower down, chaturanga, exhale. Upward dog, inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Nice. Lift the left leg up, inhale. Exhale, step the left foot through. Come up, warrior one pose. Open up to warrior two on your exhale. Nice. Reverse your warrior, inhale. And then for just a breath, side angle pose. So use your abdominal muscles to help you transition. Reverse warrior, inhale. Side angle pose, exhale. One more time. Reverse warrior, inhale. And exhale, come on into extended side angle pose. Deep breath to any variation of side angle that you like. This is also the sign of an advanced practice. An advanced practice is deeply breathing and deeply respectful of your body. So if you're working with an injury, for example, then you want to take it a little more easy. Or maybe you've been traveling internationally, like Elise, she just got back from flying, probably a full 24 hours in travel time at least. Take it a little bit easy. You don't even need an excuse. You never need an excuse. You never need an apology for why you're taking care of yourself. You just do it. That's how you know that you're getting really good at yoga, if you need a validation. Take one more breath here. Okay, and then you're going to lower the right hand down. Come up on the back toes. Perhaps you hook that left big toe with your 2 pointer fingers. Roll to the outer right foot. Good, and start to maybe lift the left leg up. Good, lift the hips up. Good, deep breath in, deep breath out. Nice, and if you've got the big toe, then gently release it. And vinyasa. You can take a few mouth exhales. You can sigh. This is one of the great things about practicing at home. Although I don't even care in a class. I can be very noisy sometimes and releasing tension. I think it's a good idea. Just let it out. Better out than in, right? Okay, go ahead and hop your feet up to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Okay, so for this next pose, you're going to just want to step back just a few inches on your mat so that you have a good, foot or 2 feet in front of you. And you're going to come up to stand up, reach the arms up, and bring the palms together in front of your heart. We'll play with Eka Pada Galavasana, the flying pigeon pose. So stand on your right leg, cross your left ankle over the right thigh, and bend your right knee. Bend your right knee. Draw the shoulder heads back. So let's go ahead and call this stage 1, and you're welcome to stay just like this. If you want to try playing a little deeper, you can take the hands down, fingertips down to the ground. If you want to work into the arm balance, then you start to bend the right knee enough that you can plant the hands flat on the mat, hook the toes of the left foot onto the right tricep, and stack that left knee on top of the left tricep. You'll start to shift forwards a little bit, lift the right foot up off the ground. So you can play with that, and then maybe you start to extend the right leg straight back and up. Good, breathe. Breathe, keep your sense of humor. Lift the pelvic floor. Yeah, and you just try it a few times, and if it works out, cool, and if it doesn't work out, totally cool. Good. And then see if from here, you can just set that right foot straight back behind you. Press back to downward facing dog pose. Beautiful. And go ahead and lift the right leg up, the right leg. Open the right hip, bend the right knee. Good. And then step the right foot all the way back up to the front of your mat. And step the left foot up to meet your right foot. Good. Go ahead and fold forwards. And come all the way up to stand. Big inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, the palms connect at the heart. And we'll switch sides. So stand on the left leg, cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Make sure you have some space at the front of your mat. Bend the left knee. You're in half chair pose, which is one of my favorites anyway. So you could stay here. If you want to work a little deeper, you can take the fingertips down onto the ground, and maybe you start to plant the hands down. Hook the right toes over the left tricep. Start to lift the left foot up. Breathe. Maybe extend the left leg back and lift it. Good, and then step back, downward dog. Lift the left leg up. Open the left hip, bend the left knee. Step the left foot all the way back up to the front of your mat. Step the right foot up to meet the left. Inhale all the way up to stand. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, chaturanga, make your way back. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale back, downward dog pose. Good. Step your right foot up to your hands, please. Come up to warrior one. Open up to warrior two. Beautiful. Press your right leg straight. Reach the right arm forwards. Come all the way into triangle pose. Good. Deep breath. Press the inner edge of the right foot down. Lean the shoulder blades back a little bit. Lengthen through the right side of your torso. So the left side of the torso actually contracts a little bit. So shorten the left side, shorten in here to lengthen the right side. Good. And then we'll step up into half moon pose from here. Step up onto the right leg, lift the left foot up, flex the left foot. Deep breath, deep breath. I say it a lot. I try to remember to practice it a lot. Just friendly reminders. We're just remembering time and time again. Okay, now from here, I'm going to have you bend your right knee. Your right knee, bend it a lot, and lower your left hand down to the ground. And then start to square off your hips. So with the knees bent a little bit, I think it's safer transition to come from external to neutral like that. And you'll start to work the right leg straight so that you're in standing splits. And so option A is to stay in standing splits. Option B, if you want to try a few hops up into handstand, which you're welcome to try against a wall if you have a free wall at home, then you can start to kick the left leg up and see if you can just take a few kicks, lift the right leg up. And then maybe you start to come up into the balance. And maybe you try it without a wall. Good. And just one more breath here. Nice, you guys. Now step the left foot straight back behind you. Bring both hands to the inside of the right foot. Heel toe the right foot over to the right a little bit. And just go ahead and lower your left knee for a moment. And maybe you drop the elbows down to the ground. So we'll just take a little resting point here. You could be on your hands. You could take your elbows to a block as well. So that can be nice. Definitely drop your head. And you're welcome to stay here. So we'll call this stage 1 in a low lunge. In stage 2, if you want to play with one more arm balance, I'm going to teach Eka Pada Koundinyasana 2, which is a really fun arm balance in my opinion, and relatively approachable, I think, for a lot of people, a lot of you. So if you want to work a little deeper, you can tuck the back toes, lift the left knee up, and start to slide your right shoulder under your right knee. Right hand comes to the outside of the right foot. Okay, so then you start to bend the elbows like chaturanga, just like chaturanga. Slide the right leg forwards to straighten it. So this is where many people stop. To take flight, you lift the left leg up too. The chin comes lower to the floor than you might think, right? Deep breath. That's it. You want to bend both elbows like chaturanga. That's it. Good. And when you're done, go ahead and step or jump back to chaturanga. One more vinyasa here. And downward dog. So, forgive yourself for balancing and gloating about it. And forgive yourself for falling if that happened. And forgive yourself for not even trying. Without forgiveness, we will get nowhere in our practice, actually, because without forgiveness, we're still clinging to the past. So let it go. Just to show up on your mat is more than enough. It's tremendous. Step the left foot through. Come up, warrior 1. It's tremendous. Open up, warrior 2. Takes great courage. Press your left leg straight. Triangle pose. It may not seem courageous to practice yoga to some people, I'm sure, but I think that it really is. It takes a lot of courage to be willing to show up and look at yourself, to really truly look at yourself, and to abandon any judgments as you observe. So to be able to observe ourselves without judgment, to observe ourselves with kindness, to forgive our flaws and imperfections because we're human. Perfection is a myth. And just come back to the breath time and time again, time and time again. The breath brings us back to neutral. Step up to half moon when you're ready, Ardha Chandrasana. Step up. When we are immersed in the breathing practice, there's no way that we're thinking. There's no way that we're able to even form a judgment because we're just breathing, we're just here. The past is, we're never going to change it, no matter how many times we go back. And the future is yet to come. So to just be here is the most peaceful place that we could possibly be. Now bend your left knee, bend it, and start to lower the right hand, lower the right hip. You come to standing splits. Just take a moment. If you need to keep the knees a little bent, that's fine. Eventually you'll start to work the left leg straight, maybe even hands to blocks. Maybe you try a few hops up into handstand, and you'll kick the right leg up and lift the left leg. Or maybe not. You know, you can lower the right, you can put both feet on the floor. Know it's available to you. Play with possibility. Be open to it, but again, not forcing. So if you made it upside down, see if you can lower onto your left leg first. Try it. May or may not happen. Then step the right foot straight back behind you. Beautiful, ladies. Bend the left knee. Slide the right leg back so you're in a low lunge. Good. And then heel toe that left foot over to the left a little. Both hands down to the inside of the left foot and lower the right knee to your mat. You can bend the elbows, whatever you like. Just let your neck soften. And so stage 1, stay just like this. In stage 2, you go ahead and tuck the back toes, the right toes, lift the right knee up. And slide the left shoulder underneath the left knee. You plant your hands just like chaturanga. And then you start to bend the elbows a lot and straighten the left leg out, like splits. And then come down. Play with lifting the right foot up. Lift the pelvic floor a lot. Good. That's it. Bam, she got it. Downward facing dog when you're ready. This is what I love because honestly, before we filmed this video, I asked both Amanda and Elise which poses they were comfortable doing, and Amanda said, I've never done it, but I can try, and she just tried, and she just did it. So that's the thing, is when you're willing to try, it doesn't have to look like the cover of a magazine, you know? It doesn't have to be some perfect thing. It's not a performance, it's a practice. Okay, go ahead and bring your right leg through for pigeon pose. Nice work, everybody. Just drop yourself in. Nice work. And then with practice, the impossible becomes possible. When I first started yoga, I thought down dog was almost impossible, you know, and I just kept practicing, and I would hear teachers sometimes say, you know, down dog is a resting pose. And I'm like, you're crazy, this is not a resting pose. And then I just kept practicing every day. I couldn't even touch my toes for years in a forward bend. And then one day it happened. And to be honest, not that much else really changed in my life, per se, not because I was able to touch my toes. You know, if I was to show somebody, look what I can do, nobody would really care. But so much had changed within my life, so much has transformed within me based on everything else that I've learned along the way, right? One of my teachers, Max Strom, one of my dearest teachers ever, says that it's really not about the pose, but who you are when you're in it, you know, who you are when you get there. That's the practice in action. So if you're at home and you want to linger in some of these postures for a little bit longer, feel free to, hit pause, stay for a moment. Otherwise, let's go ahead and switch sides. So press yourself up and back to downward dog. And step the left foot through. Pigeon. And of course, at home, you can do double pigeon, thread the eye of the needle pose, whatever you like. This is the beauty of a home practice. So when I say I practice every day, I do like to go to class, but the bulk of my practice is my own personal morning practice at home. And I've sort of learned what really works well for my body to help me feel better. And so that's what I practice. And then I do love to go to a class and challenge myself, or go to a restorative class where I can really relax and have somebody hold the space for that. But most of my practice is very much a customized practice just for me. And the practice, even in a class, it doesn't matter. It's always an intimate, deeply intimate. It's about as intimate as you can get, really. It's just you and yourself. You observing yourself. Observe yourself with kindness, with compassion. Observe yourself without judgment. Okay, and then from here, go ahead and press yourselves up and press back to downward dog pose. Good. And then set your knees down on your mat and cross your ankles behind you. Come to sit on your mat with the soles of your feet together. Knees drop open. Fold forwards for a few breaths into Pada Koundinyasana. Take the shoulders away from the ears. And press yourselves up. Bring your knees together, straighten your legs in front of you. Come to Dandasana, so sit upright and flex your feet. Then reach your arms up high, inhale, and fold forwards as you exhale. Paschimottanasana. Draw the arms back, allow the head to drop. Roll yourself up and go ahead and bend your knees and come all the way down onto your back. And so we just did forward bends before backward bends today. I think it's nice to sometimes have a rest before moving back into the upper back. So let's come up into bridge pose, lift the hips up. Walk the shoulder blades together under your back. Maybe you walk the feet in so that you can touch your heels with your hands. Lift the hips up. You could interlace the fingers behind your back. Get a little space between your chin and your chest. And lengthen your tailbone towards your knees to get a little cat tilt in the pelvis. And one more breath here. And then unroll the shoulders, come down onto your back, and just rest for a moment. Okay, and then we'll come up for one more back bend. You can come in for another round of bridge, or if you like, you can come in for wheel, in which case you would take the hands, plant the palms down by your shoulders, come up first onto the crown of your head, hug the elbows in towards each other, shoulder blades in towards each other, feet parallel, so turn the toes in a little bit, and then start to press your head up off the floor, straighten the arms. Maybe you walk the hands in a little bit towards your feet. Breathe. Let your neck soften. Good. One more breath. And then tuck the chin. Come onto the back of your neck. Rest on your back. Close your eyes. And for those of you at home, you can do as many of those as you like. But for the sake of time for this video, we're going to call it a day. Hug your knees into your chest. Call it a practice. And straighten your left leg. Hug your right knee in. And take a twist to the left. Right arm to the floor next to you. Right knee to the left. Start to feel your heart rate slow down a little bit. Wheel is a pretty big pose energetically and physically. And the practice was certainly a rigorous practice. So now that you've got lots of oxygen in your blood, you can slow the breath down more. You can even play with the pause at the top and the bottom of your breath. And then come back to center. And switch sides. Hug the left knee and right leg straight. And twist to the other side. Perhaps you pause, for a count of 2 or 4 between your breaths. Good. Come back to center. And straighten your arms and your legs to the floor. And rest in Shavasana. So for those of you at home, please feel free to rest for as long as you like. And I always think it's a good idea. It's always nice to just take a few moments to sit after my practice. So when you finish your Shavasana, just come to sit. And Bring your palms together in front of your heart. May we be at peace. May our hearts remain open. May we know the beauty of our own true nature. May we be healed. May we be sources of healing in the world. Thank you so much for practicing with us today. This is Michelle Goldstein with Heart Alchemy Yoga, filming at the Springs, LA. Please feel free to like and share these videos. Subscribe to the channel to stay in the loop. We've got an amazing community of teachers, all sorts of styles of yoga, meditation. And also, we love special requests. So if there's anything that you'd like to see us film, we're happy to accommodate. So just comment, send us a Facebook message, let us know. Thank you so much, you guys. Namaste.